We all have a story to tell. Awkward adolescent stories are often some of the best.
Because they're awkward, and usually pretty funny.
By looking back on who we were,
regardless of how odd that may be,
we can more easily accept who we were and determine who we will become.
Comedian Amy Schumer shares a story about her adolescent obsession with the most unusual stuffed animals that she feels helped define the funny girl that she is today in her memoir, Girl with a Lower Back Tattoo. An introduction to my stuffed animals.
For some reason, I've always been drawn to these old,
nightmarish
stuffed animals.
This started early on in my childhood. I never really liked the new,
lush,
cute animals.
The kind with rainbows and hearts that they always market to little girls.
You would never see my favorites crowded together in a toy store display.
No.
I liked these horrifying, broke-down creatures from yesteryear. I'd like to introduce them to you in no particular order.
I don't want them to think I have any favorites, even though, of course, I do.
Let me clarify that if you're a woman in your mid-30s and you still sleep with these animals,
you're weird.
I absolutely do not do that every night.
I don't.
So shut up.
I got Mauser when I was about 10 years old at my friend's garage sale.
He just had a good vibe and we clicked.
A confusing fact about his identity is that he is made of felt and velour, but somehow covered in rust.
Bunny came into my life when I was about 7 years old.
She was the only one among my new stuffed animals who was very new and freshly store-bought when I got her.
Despite her being the most corporate of the gang, with her mass appeal, I love Bunny.
No question. I'm calling Bunny a girl, but I just now realized that I never actually assigned a gender to any of my stuffed friends.
I got Panda when I was 8 years old.
She, too, was kind of on the new side, but because she is so soft, she'd gotten the most play out of me.
Again, never thought of Panda as a girl or a guy.
Just a panda.
I saw Penny at an antique store when I was 7. We have shared the most forbidden love story of all. I loved her
so much, so fast. While my mom shopped around, I held on to this little felt panda puppet.
With a hard head full of straw.
And soulful, googly eyes.
I was heartbroken when my mom refused to buy her for me.
It cost what?
$40.
No.
But a couple weeks later, we were reunited when my mom surprised me by bringing her home. Upon seeing her, I yelled,
"Penny!"
My mom was pretty moved I named a creature who wasn't yet mine.
I once lost Penny for a year, only to find out she was at this chick Rachel's house.
Rachel said she thought I'd given her Penny, and I explained to her,
"You're nuts."
Because I would never part with precious little Penny.
I think Penny's a girl, but that never defined her.
She's a little warrior.
The real MVP has got to be Pokey.
She has without fail scared the crap out of every single boyfriend I've ever brought around.
When I was a little girl, I was not invited to sleepover parties unless I promised to leave Pokey at home.
She's been described as the bride of Chucky and a nightmare machine.
But I don't see her that way. I love her and still put her arm around my neck when I need comfort.
Also, I'm not sure Pokey is a chick, but I do know I've stained her with enough tears to change her color. She,
or he,
has gotten me through it all.
Pokey is filled with the same hard straw material as Penny's head.
And despite my very fluid interpretations of her gender,
I did choose to have her covered in pink fabric and white lace when I took her to the doll doctor.
which is a thing.
Other stuffed animals have come and gone over the years.
I have a 2-headed bear I never named. It was a gift from an ex-boyfriend.
It was a pretty perfect gift.
Soft and disturbing, which is how I would describe myself.
I still have it.
It's too perfect, which is also how I would describe myself.
The same boyfriend who gave me the 2-headed bear gave me a huge,
And I mean huge, stuffed gorilla for Valentine's Day.
We named him Jose Antonio de la Rosa Ramirez.
and don't look into that for some racial undertones.
I just like the name Jose,
I know you may be questioning my commitment to these animals.
but I'm 100% genuine in my devotion to them. Where does my obsession end?
Not in a disgusting New York City garbage can, where I once made a boyfriend rescue them, after the movers had made a terrible mistake and thrown them all away.
To be fair to the movers,
Pokey does look like she belongs in a dark alley in a war-torn village.
And not in some nice, grown-ass woman's bedroom.
You might be thinking of asking me, did you commission an expert artist to paint a portrait of your stuffed animals?
To commemorate them forever and ever?
No, I wouldn't do that. Oh wait, I mean yes I did.
They're worth it.
Each and every one of them is a ratty,
Pilled.
Pile of fabric.
sewn together precariously.
But I love them. More than most my family.
No one can deny that high school is brimming with awkward adolescent moments. And one of the most memorable is definitely
Prom. Ah, yes, prom. The time that can either make one feel like Cinderella or Carrie White from the disturbing Stephen King horror novel.
In his memoir, I Hate My Selfie, Shane Dawson recounts an awkward adolescent story from his unfortunate prom experience.
A wise person once said,
Prom is only for easy girls and guys that want to get with them.
my grandma was a smart woman.
Don't even get me started on her thoughts on quinceañeras.
I'll give you a hint. They're horribly offensive.
Anyways, there's so many people who will tell you that prom is a magical night full of romance and stomach butterflies.
But they forget to tell you about the pain and embarrassment that comes along with it.
My prom experience was like watching a deadly car crash.
In slow motion. It wasn't just the big night that was a disaster. It was the entire lead up.
One day during my thrilling senior year, I was hanging out with my group of friends at lunch talking about all the exciting things going on in our lives.
It was a very short conversation.
You know how every school has what's commonly known as the crazy tree?
Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain.
During lunchtime, all the cliques hung out in their designated sectors outside.
I don't know who decided on the sectors. I feel like it was a natural instinct kind of thing.
On the far side of the quad next to the girls' bathroom was a large tree that looked like it had been ripped out of some depressing Tim Burton movie.
If that tree could have spoken, it would have said,
Dear God, cut me the hell down. I hate my life.
That tree marked my sector.
I would say I was the leader of the group.
but that implies we did stuff that required leading.
We more or less just stood around and shared a family-sized bag of Doritos,
First, there was Pam.
whose vocabulary was limited to cuss words that she would somehow combine to make full sentences.
She was a true linguist.
Then there was Brandon, who was a loose cannon with slight serial killer tendencies.
One time, he brought a taser gun to school and gave Pam $5 to let him try it on her.
I don't remember how it exactly went down, but I do remember she almost died.
Finally, there was my lesbian friend and future prom date, Kelly.
She was a true freak, which is why we had so much in common.
Kelly and I pretty much spent every weekend together.
Then, the unthinkable happened.
I was asked to prom?
Now before you start imagining some amazing, beautiful moment where a girl walked up to me with a hand-painted sign that said prom,
And flower petals falling from the sky.
Let me share with you the bleak reality.
Get ready for this play-by-play. Kelly,
hey Shane, can I talk to you over there for a second?
me,
By the trash can on fish stick day? This must be important.
Kelly,
So, do you want to go to prom with me?
me,
What?
Kelly,
I'm serious.
me,
You like girls.
Kelly,
You wouldn't have to pay for it.
me,
Why? Is this some make-a-wish thing?
Kelly,
My dad wants me to go with a guy, so he said he would pay for you to go with me.
me,
Yikes. That sounds like the plot of some terrible 90s movie.
Kelly.
I know it's dumb, but I really want to go.
This was a hard decision. I didn't quite know how I felt about her dad pimping me out like I was some fat call girl. The sad part is what she said to sweeten the deal. Kelly,
My dad said he'd pay for our Denny's meal.
the even sadder part was my reaction.
Tater tot nachos? I'm in.
So it was settled. I was all Kelly's for the night at the low cost of prom tickets, my tux, and a Denny's meal.
The night of prom arrived in a flash.
Before I knew it, it was time for me to lie on the floor and have my mom help me zip up my tuxedo pants.
I hopped in my never ever before been washed car and headed over to my date's house.
As I pulled up to Kelly's house, I started getting nervous.
There was something about the suit and the romantic song playing on the radio that made my stomach get butterflies.
Maybe this night was going to be magical.
I got up to the front door, but before I could knock, it swung open and I was hit with a storm of flashing lights.
There were so many flashes, I started to wonder if I was having a stroke.
Which was totally possible considering the sheet cake and Big Mac I ate earlier.
After the lights had stopped flashing, I looked up and saw Kelly standing in front of me, looking like a completely different person.
She wasn't the camouflage, metal-tipped, hiking boot-wearing girl I was used to.
She was a beautiful princess with a perfectly fitted dress.
And a hairstyle ripped out of 17 magazine. Me.
Wow, you look great.
Kelly.
I feel kind of stupid.
Me.
Why, you look amazing. You look like one of those pageant kids, made to look like a childhood prostitute, but happy about it.
That's
Kelly.
what I was going for.
Her dad walked over to me and gave me the take care of her speech.
Which was incredibly uncomfortable, but also kind of sweet.
So our night was off to a good start, and it was time to make it even better.
We met up with some of our crazy tree friends at Denny's.
The rest of the night consisted of my date being swept away by a tornado of her lesbian friends,
Spending most of my time with the chocolate fountain.
Only to be forced to have my first dance be with my drunk, handsy teacher.
Although this memory is painfully embarrassing,
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
not
Not even the tater tot nachos at Denny's.